Hey there, moguls. It's me, Marshall Sylver, your personal millionaire maker. Getting very excited about my brand new show, 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm going to broadcast live to you. In the first hour of the broadcast, I'm going to give you content, information for better sex, more money, emotional, mental, physical, and even spiritual power. I'll also invite some of my cool multi-millionaire and billionaire friends onto the show to give you more direction, more advice, more strategies and gambits for having it all. The second hour is what I'm most excited about. It's when I get a chance to chat with you. Yes, you. Where you can call in, talk to me, ask me questions. And if you say the secret word of the day, you could win $5,000 cash. At the very least, if you're the most interesting call of the day, you could also win 10 ounces of freshly minted Marshall Sylver 999 Fine Silver. All of that and more. Brand new Mercedes-Benz sedan or SUV up for grabs. My personal Rolls-Royce Phantom up for grabs. All the knowledge to get everything you want and so much more. All you got to do is log in to the show to get information about its release coming up. 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, coming to you live from the bunker right here at Studio Money. I'm Marshall Sylver, your personal millionaire maker.
Let me bring in our hypnotist, Marshall Sylver.
It's Marshall Sylver, ladies and gentlemen, the world's fastest hypnotist.
Well, hello there, and welcome to episode 16 of Marshall Sylver Live. It is, let's see, 3/18/24. 3/18/24, $2,000 up for grabs. And we're excited for a lot of reasons. As you know, I was not here last week. I was busy doing live events, and we're excited about that. The week prior, as you probably know, we had a winner. $13,500 in secret word cash was given away to Emily Mylett. Congratulations again. You're amazing. She decided actually to convert 100% of that prize to her education, and she signed one of her family members actually up for Inner Circle. What a great gift to give to a family member. What a great person. I'm excited to be here today. Before we get going, I need to share this with you. I need your prayers. And the reason I need your prayers, my beautiful bride has been in the hospital since last Thursday. And she's stabilized. She's doing better. We're saying a prayer she can come home soon. Except Erica who never gets sick. She's always well. She's a real warrior, actually. Has been battling it out for the last few days. She had a challenge. They gave her a medication. Turns out they gave her too much or the wrong medication, and she had a very adverse reaction to it, and was like, I don't even want to say how bad it was. It was so bad I was afraid, and I don't get afraid very often. So prayers for Erica, and we're gonna have an awesome show. And my prayer is when I wrap up today's show, I'm jumping in my car and I am swooping her out of that hospital. Before we get to our guest, I'm going to do a whole episode on healthcare in America. And I was reminded when I saw my wife and dealt with what she's dealing with right now, I was reminded how bad we are in America now with healthcare. I mean, it's gotten so bad. It's massively for profit. And, you know, I was so reminded. I took my wife to the emergency ward. She is bad. She needs immediate attention. Has a temperature pressing up against 104 degrees. And I walk in, and what do they say? That'll be $40 copay, please. And I said, yeah, I'm happy to pay the copay. Could somebody please see my wife? And that's where we are today. So this show is about motivation for sure. This show is about good stuff. We're also about talking about the tough topics. So I'm going to leave that topic there. And I'm going to immediately move to an extremely happy topic, actually. Our guest today. I'm very excited about him. His name is Alex Urban, and this guy is a marketing genius. And I know I don't throw that around lightly because we get a lot of really smart people on this show. This guy's sold over $35 million in product. He's got a track record of taking a pro-American apparel line from $0 to $1 million in 100 days. How remarkable is that? From nothing, brand new startup, to $1 million in 100 days. He also is going to share his path to becoming a digital dominance in strategic brand growth. He's currently coaching over 170, that 170 online businesses, owners, and collaborating with influencers like CT Fletcher, Dan Crenshaw. I know you know Dan, and brings a wealth of knowledge on creating impactful online presences and driving substantial sales growth. Please welcome to Marshall Sylver Live, Alex Urban. Welcome, Alex. Glad to have you on the show.
Hey, thank you so much, Marshall. I really appreciate the opportunity, and definitely going to be keeping Erica in my prayers.
I appreciate that. Where are you located right now?
I am located in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Fantastic. And I see a lot of American Indian artwork behind you. What's the story behind that?
You know what? I actually found this artist through Joe Rogan. He actually happens to be a local artist here in Utah, up in Park City. So after seeing Joe promote some of his art, just had to get some of it and hang it up in the office. I feel like it speaks a lot for itself. A lot of people have some different emotions every time they see it. But for me, you know, this is my office. It's kind of like the place I go to battle in. And that just, you know, really puts that energy in the room that I'm looking for every day when we're going to war. You know what I mean?
I do. It's sacred. I get it. You know, I feel the same way about hypnosis. I watch other hypnotists do what they do. I see hypnotic shows that are like very adult, and I'm not a prude by any means. And I drop a good F bomb like anybody that does. Hypnosis is sacred to me. And so the process of helping people have better lives, that's sacred to me. And it's refreshing to me. You know, I was doing some research on you as I was getting ready to have you as a guest on the show. And it's refreshing to me to have a marketer that feels that way. Because as you may know or may not know, sometimes the fish doesn't go in the water. My experience has been most hypnotists are sketchy. Most hypnotists are sketchy. I mean, this is a powerful process, and it could be used for goodness, or it could be Darth Vadered. And too many times I see hypnotists using the dark side. And same thing with marketers. Most marketers are full of crap. Most of them, they know how to market one thing, and that is their marketing services. And they don't know how to market beyond that. So they end up repeatedly falling short and flat out ripping people off. So tell me, how are you different? And is that experience the same for you inside the marketplace, being so close to it?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely the same for me. And I honestly feel like, you know, energy to me is very, very sacred, but, you know, you can use it for the light side of things or the dark side of things. And it's very unfortunate, but, you know, you have to have both sides equal and opposite in order to have a structural foundation to really build anything off of. I was actually having a conversation with one of my friends last night who's in the health and nutrition space. She's like an online coach who helps people with losing weight, getting their nutrition in check. And what's interesting is one of the marketing Facebook groups I'm in yesterday, one of my friends acquaintances was showing off an AI model that he actually made, and how he's actually leveraging this AI model on TikTok and posting health tips on there, and actually driving affiliate traffic to a lot of the products that he's pushing. And what's really interesting is that you have someone who's in here who's my friend. She's really gone through a lot of struggles and battles in her life, and she's helping other people overcome what she's overcome and doing things for the good. Yet you have these shady marketers creating people who aren't even real, who are literally having an influence and gaining a following just strictly to have them get financial gain behind the scenes of products that they don't even know, trust, or buy. They just know they have these high-end payouts on there. So in the marketing industry, it's extremely prevalent that there are, you know, the light side of things and the dark side of things. For me, I'm just like, I love promoting and working with good people who have, you know, the right intentions and helping them grow. And that's always been a line that I've played along. I've seen a lot of dark things in the marketing industry, and I've seen a lot of good things come from it as well. And for me, I've always enjoyed operating in that light side of things, because to me, karma is a big deal. Energy is a big deal. You know, you get what you put out. And for me, it's like, I will never go wrong if I never put out wrong. So always operating with truest intentions has always been one of my core values, and definitely at the top of that list.
So you're working with 170 online brands. Tell me about what you do.
Yeah, so I have a few different things that I do. I have a coaching group that originally started about 3 years ago. I started just sharing a lot through my personal brand, all these successes that I had working with a few different brands at the time. And a lot of people were seeing that success of the brand growing and were asking me questions like, hey, how do I do this? What are you doing? And so I opened up a coaching group and started showing them the insides and outs of what I was doing on a daily basis, whether it's building an online store, doing some conversion rate optimization testing, whether it's running ads, or even how we're filming our creatives and behind the scenes of that. And that started really growing the more that I started showing the behind the scenes, what I was doing on a day-to-day basis. It just started attracting a lot of different business owners in that same space that were looking to grow their online business. And as I continued to grow my personal brand and share my story, that compounded up to about 170 business owners today who are in my coaching group. And I just do a weekly call with them, talk about different topics. Again, whether it's last week we talked about running ads, week before that we were talking about creatives, the week before that we were talking about how to do some daily accounting and P&L stuff inside your business. And it comes with like an entire library pretty much of how to build an online business from the ground up. So I do that. That's a coaching group that I run. I also have some clients that I do some one-on-one consulting with. And then I also have a marketing agency where I'm working with different clients all across the spectrum, helping run their ads, create their ads as far as shooting images, videos, and stuff like that. We do everything from email, managing social media, SMS, website building, all that good stuff. So kind of an entire ecosystem, but that's the gist of it.
So we have a lot of business owners that watch this show. We are primarily, the knowledge that we give is primarily for small business owners, mid-sized business owners, and real estate investors. And again, I hear it. I'm in the trenches doing the exact same thing that we teach people how to do. And I've done over $600 million worth of business. So I believe, I'd like to think that I'm operating at a slightly different level than most people. Yet if I get what I get operating at this level, I can't imagine what people with no leverage or no influence, no weight behind them. I can't imagine how they're treated if somebody treats a multi-million dollar brand like me like this. So tell me, if I came to you and I said, Alex, obviously you've had massive success. Your track record's really good. I'd like to blow this live broadcast up because that's what makes us unique. I'd like to blow this live broadcast up to get, let's start 1,000, then 10,000, then 100,000 simultaneous live viewers. What might you do with someone like me?
To be honest with you, that's where you have to, the biggest way to really explode a brand is starting to leverage other people's audiences. And you have to look at other people's audiences based off where their following is. For some people, it's on Instagram. For some, it's on TikTok. For some, it's on Twitter, right? For me, when I look at podcasts and people who are doing things like shows like this, the best way to do it is honestly just get those little clips of people dropping value and then tagging them and having them reshare with their audience across all their different social media, right? Because if you get a guest on here who has an audience of people that are interested in this specific topic, and you are doing cross promotion on each other's page, you're reaching their audience and your audience, and it's gonna compound. What's crazy is that there's little blips, especially when it comes to TikTok, who you never know that you could have some guest on your podcast that gives an 8-second little value bomb, and that 8-second value bomb will literally get millions and millions and millions of views. So that'll attract new eyeballs like crazy. So for me, it's taking this content, it's repurposing it, and it's multiplying it as much as humanly possible. Because there is a balance between like quality versus quantity of content, but I believe that we live in the day that it's like you need to be a little bit more heavily weighted on the actual quantity of content that you're putting out, because the second that you can hit that one video that just hits its first million views organically, your business and your broadcast and everything else is going to change for literally the end of time. It's going to create a whole new trajectory for your business. So just taking the content, multiplying it and sharing it as much as you possibly can and leveraging other people's platforms.
Yeah, I didn't subscribe to that previously. And then I started watching videos with Alex Hermosi and
Yep.
Grant Cardone and other people that I respect very much for their online presence. And they all said the same thing. They said, more content, more content, more content. And as anybody would know, anybody reasonable would know, if you keep putting out more and more and more, the quality has got to diminish. There's no way around that. And then I came back to the idea of what you just said. Put out crap, then put out crap 2.0. Put
Mhm.
out something, then put out something better. And keep working to make it better, except do not hesitate to put out crap. There's a
Yeah.
book called On Writing by Stephen King, the author Stephen King. And one of the things he talks about in there is writers write. And
Mhm.
if you're going to be a writer, that's what you do for a living. You sit down at your desk and you write, and you don't edit while you write. You just write. and you get done writing, and then maybe you come back and edit, and maybe you send it out, have somebody else review it. But for the most part, he says just put out whatever you put out, because if you keep editing, you'll never get anything out.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's one of the things that one of my early on coaches actually taught me is like whenever I write a post personally, it's like I write it once and I send it and I post it, and there may be some typos in there may be some grammatical errors, but it's like the second I go back and start tweaking and editing the post to make it as perfect as possible. I mean, I've had nights where literally I'm sitting on my couch for 2 hours writing a single post, and I'm like, was that really worth it, or should I have just shot the real and raw version of it? Same thing with like early on with some of the videos that I posted online. It was I would literally record the video once and I'd post it. I wouldn't even watch the video again because I know I'd get in my head about it. So again, just starting and being consistent, to me, those are the two most powerful things that you can do when you're growing your online brand or even just your business in total, because it's the hesitation and we want to have everything be so perfect. It's that perfectionism that holds a lot of us back from ever getting a stride and actually figuring out where we lie within this world of consuming content and creating content, right? So if you look back on like a lot of early creators, like go to some of the largest social media accounts that you follow and just take a few minutes and scroll all the way to the bottom and see their content in the very beginning. And you're also going to notice that their content was actually very, very, very shitty as well when they got started. But again, it's like the fact that they got started, they stayed consistent. You see what the result is now of years and years and years of consistency. And again, it started with some shitty posts, and over time it ended up getting better, more refined, and then now they have the product to where they're at today. So definitely just get started and be consistent.
Yeah, and I cannot myself emphasize that enough. On the first broadcast we did, we're on day 16. So I have been broadcasting live for 3 weeks prior. We took a week off for me to do the live events. But on the first broadcast, I have a green screen behind me clearly. On the first broadcast, the green screen fell on my head. It just tipped over, and it's a solid screen. So it tipped over and it fell on my head. And I'm looking at the image and you can't really tell it's on my head, but it's literally sitting on my head. And I told the audience, I said, the green screen's on my head right now. You can't see it, except it's literally falling on my head, because I think that that's the biggest challenge for people. I teach lose the need for other people's approval, lose your need for looking good, because you're never going to look good until you look like crap.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things, like we're talking about, like growing your personal brands online too, one of the things that really helped me grow my actual brand online, I was always the person who, if you look at my Instagram pre like 2019 or whatnot, like all it was is just a highlight reel of like, oh, I'm in Israel, I'm in the UK, I'm in Amsterdam, wherever it is, right? I'm only showing the good. I actually started this thing called the POV challenge, where every single day what I started doing is I take a picture of something that happened that day. There's pictures of my cars, there's pictures of my office, there's pictures of me just going for a walk. And then I just took a caption of something that I learned that day and I actually posted about it. And I actually did a post on Instagram every single day for 600 days in a row. And that actually doubled my following over that time period. And what it taught me was, again, that thing that I was like, I need to start being consistent with content, but also too, there's no such thing as perfect content. And what I learned is that the more authentic I was, the more real I was, and the more I just kept continuing to post on what I was doing in a day in and day out basis, it actually built this relationship with everybody that was following me online. And I highly give that credit to the success of where I'm at today, attracting all those different business owners, those different clients and things like that. There's a lot of people and a lot of opportunities that I've been approached by specifically for my marketing agency that have come as a result of me showing what I'm doing behind the scenes with all these different companies, all these different brands. So again, that content wasn't perfect, no, but it was showing what I was doing behind the scenes on how to get results. And that ended up attracting a huge list of clientele to a point where I can't actually even take on another client yet until I start hiring some more employees and start scaling. So I know a lot of business owners are like struggling with lead flow, with getting new prospects in the door. They're trying to like cold email, cold call, trying to do, outreach and all this. And what's interesting is that like I'm in a state where I literally have more people coming to me that I can say yes to. So it's an exact opposite problem, but it's come through building that relationship with these people through social media consistently for 600 days straight. And now I'm posting a few times a week. So again, it's that consistency that really makes a difference in any business that you're looking to build.
Tell me what kind of content is winning these days? If I'm brand new and I'm thinking about doing some posts and content, what stuff works? I see so much that I look at and go, how does that have 100 million views? Why does that have 100 million views?
Yeah, there's some, what's interesting is that when we're talking about like what content like the algorithms favor right now, it's very, what I've noticed is that we've evolved from like originally all these platforms wanted long form video content because they wanted you to stay on their platform as long as possible. But now it slowly is chopped down and gone more and more, or more, less and less and less and less. And now it's like your video content that you're consuming is anywhere between like 3 to 10 seconds. It's very hard, but it's like, that is how quick you have an attention span. And there's not a lot that you can really post on there in 3 to 6 seconds to actually give someone value. But if you're truly looking to grow your views, grow your following, the best thing that I recommend doing is that you create a picture, and you write some kind of caption over it, but you create that actual picture as a video, and you make that video about 6 to 8 seconds long. And what happens is that somebody actually has to read the caption on that picture, and they'll actually watch that video 2 to 3 times. And what that does is that's going to rank your content in the algorithm a lot higher, because they're seeing that someone has watched your quote unquote video, even though it's just a image post with a caption on it, multiple times over and over and over again. So that's going to get you a ton of video views on that picture, and it's going to spread that message as far as possible. Now, if you're talking about building a relationship with somebody, and if you're talking about like building that relationship with somebody you don't know through social media, that's where you just have to be authentic and share what you're going through on a daily basis. Like, don't just share the wins, but share the losses. Like, the most viral posts that I've had, and the posts that have really resonated with people more than anything, are the posts where I talk about me having anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, whatever it may be. So it's like pushing to the extent. And what's interesting is that it's more relatable to somebody to talk about anxiety than depression than it is to talk about flying in a private jet. You know what I mean? So it's like, that is something that will connect you with your audience deeper, and they see you as a real person. If you're just posting all the materialistic things, all the good things in life, it's like, to a lot of people, that's inobtainable, right? If I'm flying around and going on 19 different trips in a year, some people only have the chance to go on 1 trip a year. So it's not really something that they can connect on. However, when you're saying, hey, I'm having a hard day, I'm at the gym right now, lifting out, as much weight as I can, trying to sweat out all this, depression, anxiety, and all these demons that are in my soul right now, that's what's going to build you the relationship. So if we're talking strategy, that image that's 6 seconds long as a video, I would be posting that. But if you're talking about building a relationship, you need to share the darkness. You need to share that message that like you are uncomfortable sharing with the world, because that's ultimately going to be what connects you with these people and builds that long-term relationship with them, where eventually they're going to become a client of yours in whatever industry that you're in.
I had a video. I posted a photograph just like what you were suggesting a while ago, and I was in a video shoot, except I was wearing shorts with a suit. And so I took a picture of myself in the shorts and the suit. And you're absolutely right. That picture got way more engagement than any other picture from the shoot. The fact that they could see that I wasn't wearing pants. And I
Yep.
saw that Kevin O'Leary from the Shark Tank now has a habit of posting a video. And then he also will post a side shot of him sitting there in his board shorts, in his suit jacket and tie, but also wearing pink flip flops and board shorts. And I think that again, we're voyeurs. By nature, humans are voyeurs. We like to look at the train crash. We like to see behind the scenes, and we like to know that our heroes are flawed. We like
Yep.
to know what the kryptonite is. And again, we're human, and I know that you're human. And you were talking about depression and anxiety, and dealing with that kind of stuff. The higher the levels, the higher the devils. And the more success we have, the more we expose ourselves, the more we're gonna get attacked. And so, go ahead.
Oh, I just agreeing with you. Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, the more that you take on, the more people are going to come after you. And it's like the more you're going to have to deal with. So, really optimizing yourself and like focusing on your mental health, like those are absolutely huge to your entrepreneurial journey, as I'm sure you're aware.
A viewer, Tim Keegan, is asking, what platforms do you prefer? What are your preferred platforms?
Instagram is number one, Facebook number two, TikTok I'm still working on, haven't really cracked that yet. They actually just banned one of my accounts for, I have no idea what reason. I just logged in, they said you're banned, and so I'm trying to rebuild that now. But Instagram for me has always been the number one platform to go to. I feel like right now it's like TikTok is a little bit on a balance board of if we're going to have it in a year or if it's going to get shut down completely. But Instagram to me has always been one that's been the most reactive and the best for building relationships with all my clients.
That's the other thing that I believe. My challenge is I'm far right. If you have to judge me, I'm far right. And what's weird is I never thought I was far right. I thought I was just an American. And now conservative values get attacked so much that we've gotten labeled. And because of that, I had 155,000 followers on Twitter before Musk bought it,
Mhm.
and they wiped out my whole account overnight. They just took all the followers. They left the account up for 30 days, which I thought was really weird, with
Mhm.
no followers. And then I said, I'm not posting there anymore. I said, I like Donald Trump, and you banned me for that? Are you kidding me? And so, the other challenge that I see, and part of the reason I'm doing this broadcast, is we do the first hour on all platforms, any platform that will allow me. And then we go to a private platform that we call the Vault. And
Mhm.
inside the Vault, I take callers. We give away, 10 ounces of pure silver to the most interesting call. If someone says the secret word of the day, they win cash that day. And my whole point in all that is I feel like we've got to migrate our audience to a platform that we control, to a platform that we can't get banned from, a platform that we can say, you said shitty a couple times, that we can say something like that, drop an F bomb, and nobody's going to, stop us. And while we are not going to the Vault yet today, because we're still in the first month of the show, I'm positive sooner or later they're going to Joe Rogan me. Sooner or later people are going to go, I can't stand that guy. Nobody cares about you when you don't have any viewers or listeners. You're just frankly a pissant. But the moment you have any kind of a following and you have an opinion, man, you're going to get attacked. That is for sure. So what are your thoughts on anything? I don't even say controversial, because that's not what we get banned for or kicked off platforms for. We get kicked off platforms for being patriots or liking Donald Trump. What are
Mhm.
your thoughts on that?
I mean, honestly, it's like if we live in a country that really prioritizes and stands for freedom of speech, we should be able to say whatever we want. I'm very, very right wing myself too. So it's like if I say like I love Donald Trump, then someone should also be able to say I love Joe Biden. You know what I mean? It's like
Absolutely.
the fact that I have a voice and you have a voice, but we don't disagree. That shouldn't mean that I get penalized or they get penalized or my account gets limited or their account gets limited. And it plays for both sides. You know what I mean? I like obviously looking at the data and the statistics and everything that's going on. The right wing has really, really been shut down and shadow banned, and I've seen accounts get flagged. And I even follow like a knife company, Montana Knife Company, and it's like they post a picture of a knife, and literally like they're posting screenshots that Instagram sent them saying, "Hey, your content's not able to be showed to any like non-followers and stuff like that." And it's like, guys, like
That's my product.
if we want to play, yeah, exactly. It's not only like that, but it's also like at the same time, like we need to be treated fairly across all different platforms, right? If an extreme right wing person is getting shut down, then equally, we should have an extreme left wing shutdown. But again, that's not the rights that we have as Americans. So especially here, it's like I understand it's hard because you have a government versus a private entity, but it's like to me, what's written in that constitution should and always should be the highest priority standard above anybody's private rights, and especially when it comes to freedom of speech, because that can sway so many things for the good or the bad of our country. So opening it up completely to everybody, I personally believe that that should just be a standard. But unfortunately, we live in a time that it's not. So we have to, be a little bit cautious of it and tread where we can to be strategic and not strategic at times.
Yeah, going full circle back to the idea that marketers are full of crap. There's a marketer who has a very right-based company, a
Mm-hmm.
very patriotic company, markets to 55-year-old preppers and people that are protecting themselves. And this guy's a left-wing nut job. I mean, he is horrid, but yet his whole company is all about marketing to those other people. And I called him on it one day. I said, Why in the world would a person who is vehement as you are against Trump, against everything patriots stand for, why in the world would you own a company that markets exclusively to patriots?" And he said his exact words were, "They're so dumb they buy my stuff." And again, I don't know about anybody else. I like sleeping at night. I like being able to live with myself.
Yeah.
And anybody doing anything just for money, those marketers, like you were talking about, your friend's gone through physical challenges. So if
Mhm.
anybody can speak about nutrition and health from a first person point of view, they can. But then you've got people on the other side of the spectrum selling dick pills or nutritional supplements or things that they joke about, how bad the products are while they're making millions of dollars. How do we get rid of people that are unethical and immoral? Do we expose them? Do we call them out publicly? Or do we just let them run and make their fortunes and abuse people? What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, to me, it's like I personally feel a lot of these people just need to be exposed. And it's like, unfortunately, if if you find a loophole in the law or a loophole in a platform, like people will take advantage of it. It doesn't matter if it's talking about selling dick pills with Facebook ads, which is not allowed, or it's evading taxes with the rules that are allowed. I think a lot of us are playing to the rules that people are like, why are you not making any income? And it's like, well, I'm just playing by the IRS tax book, and you know what I mean? Playing by the rules there. So again, it's like any rule can be used for good or it can be used for bad. Any loophole can be used for good or it should be bad. But that's kind of where it comes down to like a standard, like morals across our entire society is like, where do we actually draw that line? You know what I mean? If there is this product that's legal to sell, people will sell it. If there is a rule to follow, we will follow that rule. If there's a loophole that hasn't been addressed yet, people are going to take advantage of it. So to me, it's hard because I don't think there's ever a way that we can actually correct it in its entirety. But exposing people, I am a huge proponent of it. There's a page that I love following on Instagram called Baller Busters. And I love that page because they essentially are taking all these lawsuits that all these online influencers have been in and exposing them as the frauds and the scam artists that they are. And I believe that it's like, there needs to be more of that, right? Especially people who are in the world of making these huge financial claims. It's like, I knew people early on when I started getting into my entrepreneurial journey with internet marketing, who these guys literally be like, hey, I started a Shopify store and I literally went in the hole $1 million, but I sold courses and made another 3 to 4 million. So actually I'm net positive on it, but he's showing people literally how to run a business that is losing, 7 figures, but they're dumb enough to buy a course on it. So he just made his 7 figures back plus multiple others on top of that. So it's really hard, man. But it's like, I truly believe that anybody who is making these like financial claims or anybody who is doing wrong for other companies should be publicly exposed. And there should be other people too who aren't afraid to get in fights on social media. A lot of people are scared because they're going up against some guy who has 300,000 followers, calling him out, thinking that he's going to essentially shout out to the world that, you're a piece of shit. And it's like, don't be afraid to go to war, man. You have no idea how many others people's livelihoods that you can save by simply exposing what they're doing behind the scenes and how they're just plain and simple destroying people's lives, especially when it comes to, any kind of thing in the financial realm.
Sure. One of my pet peeves is always somebody that is not congruent with what they're selling. If you're not a product of your own product, then you shouldn't sell it.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I'm evangelical about subconscious reprogramming. Sometimes I get grief. I've been on some other people's podcasts lately, and inevitably, as you may know, a lot of people with podcasts, very big podcasts, don't know how to monetize it. And the reason they don't monetize well is they have this weird thing about selling to their viewers or their followers. And the reason they have this weird thing about selling is they're afraid if I offer up something for sale, then, I'll lose followers or they'll think, this is all sleazy, salesy kind of thing. And my belief about sales is the same as hypnosis. I'm evangelical about selling. Salespeople are the cornerstone bedrock of the economy. And if nothing is sold, we don't have an economy. And so I sell hard. And sometimes I'll see marketers that will give me grief and, oh, you're so salesy and you sell so hard. And my response is always the same. I have 3 kids. And if I need to sell them hard on being sober and being clean and staying off drugs and staying out of trouble, I don't care how much they hate me short term. I really don't. What I care about is that their lives are good. What I care about is that ultimately they realize everything I did from a place of love and concern.
Absolutely.
And I think that, I think that's the reason that both the First and the Second Amendment are getting attacked right now, is that you can't have one without the other, and if you don't have one, you don't have either. So if we're not able to speak freely, then we won't be able to say, no guns and or guns, whatever we want, and that's the challenge. Even this broadcast. Are you married? Are you in a relationship?
Me, nope. I'm single.
You're single. How old are you?
29 years old.
And you've been involved in marketing for how long?
Just about 7 years, coming up on the 7-year mark.
I know, obviously you've played with some big players. The apparel brand that you took from 0 to $1 million, big brand in the industry. Without naming the brand, what did you do to take it from 0 to $1 million in less than 100 days?
To be honest with you, it was just very, very creative marketing. To a degree, it's like we planted our flag in the sand and said, here's what we stand for and here's what we're about. And the more aggressive that we were about taking that stand, the more attraction that it got from people. It was that same thing where we were posting a lot of things that people were arguing back and forth about on the comments. We got a lot of engagement with our content, a lot of people agreeing with our message, a lot of people disagreeing with our message. And that ultimately created a lot of engagement and a lot of reach. And it was kind of our superpower in that. So being very creative with our products, being very data driven with our decisions, meaning that we were listening to customer and consumer feedback on what products they wanted instead of playing the business game egotistically, where it's like, here's what I want on a t-shirt. We're listening to what our customers wanted on a t-shirt. That was very huge. And then again, just having all the right people in the right places at the right time. It was really, the stars lined up on that one. And we just absolutely smashed it out of the park.
That is awesome. These days, I know you're coaching 170 businesses. Is that inside of a private mastermind? Do you have a Facebook group, or where would people go if they wanted more of your amazing brilliance?
Yeah, absolutely. The best place to find me is going to be on Instagram at Alex Urbie, AlexUrbie. There's a link tree in my bio with all the links there. My community with my coaching group is actually hosted on a platform called Circle. Again, because of all the Pro America stuff I was posting on Facebook, I was afraid that eventually one day it could get shut down. So it used to be on a Facebook group, but now not anymore. It's on a private platform where, if I said something on Facebook one day to piss off the Facebook guys, then we're still safe. So Instagram is the best place to find me with all the links in my bio.
And once again, you said your handle is Urbie or Urban?
It's Urbie. It was a nickname that someone had, and I contacted the guy who is Alex Urban on Instagram, and he's kind of seen my lifestyle, and he's want to sell the account to me, and it seems like the price just keeps going up on there. So we're just going to hold with URBIE. That's just how it's going to be.
URBIE.
Yep, correct.
Urbie. That's funny.
Yeah.
That is but standard for the course, that's for sure.
Exactly.
So, you obviously have done a lot. You've been knocked down. I'm guessing you bounced back. And tell me, while we're on that topic of disclosure, you mentioned depression and anxiety and challenges that most people go through. A lot of people would be shocked to know that twice in my life I was suicidal. And twice I just felt like that would be an easier solution. And I don't think, especially these days, people realize how taxing all this input is on our mental health. And the challenges, it used to be we didn't have nearly this kind of input. So we didn't have good or bad, which was good. We just were able to exist. And, I have 3 children, and I do my very best to limit their screen time, no matter what their screen time is, even if it's games. When my wife went into the hospital over the last weekend, and there was a point where I had to leave my 3 kids alone for about 90 minutes. And my boys were playing Nintendo. And I told them, I said, no video games while I'm gone. I don't want you doing that, because the sheer competition of video games and the interplay is enough to start fights. I said, so go read a book. While I'm gone, go do some artwork, go do your studies. No video games. Tell me about, your darkest points and the stuff that you've had to deal with, so that people can hear the victory story.
Yeah, honestly, like there's been a lot of times in my journey where you face those extremely dark days. And honestly, like as you continue to grow, especially like as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a entrepreneur, whatever position that you're in, it's like you're going to notice that the stress is going to get more and more. And it's like the level to which you'll succeed is going to be at the level at which you can withstand that stress and that pressure. And unfortunately, we'll hit a tipping point where that stress and pressure will cause some cracks in your foundation, and that's where you're going to start to notice that you've got anxiety like you've never had before, depression, suicidal thoughts, whatever that may be. Right now, my personal advice to anybody kind of going through that currently and right now is that there is a voice inside of you telling you exactly what you need to do, and whether that voice makes sense or does not make sense, that is ultimately the path that you need to be aligned on. I was actually, when I was working for that company, I actually took a trip and I was out in Maui, And I got to a point where I was like so incredibly like just stressed and depressed and just unhappy with my life that I was sitting on the beach and watching the sunset. And I was like, I would go home, sell all my cars, all my places, all my watches, all my shoes, all my materialistic shit that I bought, thinking that that would like give me a band-aid and help make me happy, just so I could go spend one more day sitting on that beach watching that sunset. And immediately in that moment that I knew that I could not return home and go back and work for this company again, because it was just not fulfilling my soul anymore. And it was just weighing me down so tremendously. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had no backup plans. I had nothing like that was even driving me to say like, here's what I want to do. But I just knew in my heart that it was a step that I had to take. I didn't know where money was coming in from. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't even know if there's other opportunities ahead. And so simply put, I just called the owner and said, hey man, you know, it's come to a time where I know you said to tell you if I'm not happy here anymore, and this is where I'm at and I'm not feeling happy anymore. I just feel like there's some other horizons I need to explore. And it was very, very, very hard call to make because of the social pressure of who the company was and who I was working for, and because of the relationship that I built with them over the last 3 years of working with them. But ultimately, it was that step that like scared the shit out of me that I needed to make to ultimately pull me out of that hole. And I can say after being gone now since actually it was May of last year when I left that company, I've gone through a lot of trials and a lot of adversities, but honestly, it was the best thing that I could have possibly done, because it led me to a much, much more happier plan in life. Whereas like before, I didn't know what I was going to do, but I aligned myself with the universe and God and whatever spiritual being was telling me what I needed to do, took that step, and has led to honestly some of the most incredible and most amazing and most memorable opportunities that I could have. And now I live in a day-to-day state where I'm just incredibly filled with gratitude and positive energy. And it's like, you feel like you got that glow back. So again, if you're just like, hey, you know, I'm on the verge of blowing my brains out and I don't know what to do, but some voice in your head's like, quit the job, leave the relationship, go move here. That voice is there for a reason. And it's like, to me, that is the voice that we need to listen to get us on that right path. What was interesting is around that same exact time too, it was actually right after I quit that job. And I know you mentioned about talking like how to get people off like drinking, off drugs, all that. But it was interesting because after I left that job, that was a voice that continued to ring in my head as well. It was like, Alex, you need to stop drinking. You need to stop drinking. And I kept fighting with it. And I tell people, I was like, this was my fight with God, or, you know, for whoever's listening, whatever spiritual belief or that you believe in. And I was like, this was my argument with him, where I was like, no, man, I don't need to stop drinking. Like, I can control it. I can just do it at parties. I can just do it on the weekends. I can just do it a few times a year. But something inside me was like, Alex, like, put it down, just stop completely. And so I actually just woke up one day and I was like, you know, today's the day I'm stopping drinking. And I'm now almost 300 days off drinking. And it was interesting because I can see that that point was very pivotal, that the second I stopped, blessings started coming in and my path and trajectory of growth started compounding and just created this J curve that is now, it's like, it honestly can't be stopped. And it's like I highly attribute to me being able to perform how I perform today with not drinking, because I have to be able to perform at a certain level to meet client expectations, to go above and beyond for specific people, or all my clients, and really stand out and set an example for everybody. So it was interesting that it's like, again, listening to one voice and then listening to the next voice. And after listening to enough of these voices and fully trusting that voice and that conscious calling, it led me to a point now where it's like, I'm literally the happiest that I've ever been, the most content I've ever been, the most grateful that I've ever been. But, you know, if you want to talk about that story of like where that tipping point was, and for me overcoming, it was all within that last few stages of leaving the job, quitting drinking, and just fully trusting God and the universe path to lead me to where it is that I was ultimately meant to be.
I think that's so important. You know, you mentioned God at least 42 times just now.
Yep.
And I am not a religious person. You're up in Salt Lake. Are you Mormon?
I am not Mormon.
So I was born and raised very evangelical Christian. My whole family is extremely evangelical about it. And I love God deeply. I have seen so many miracles in my life. There's absolute certainty about God, and certainly God in my life. I'm not a fan of religion.
Mhm.
And in fact, I have challenge with religion. If it works for somebody else, I don't have any challenge with that. I don't care what their religion is. I don't have a judgment. I don't have a challenge. If they're happy and they're kind and they're helping other people, God bless them. If that's what they're doing, then apparently something's working. Because I've seen people on the other side of the spectrum that were in a religion that I might agree with that were horrific human beings. But
Absolutely.
you mentioned God, and I know for me, and by the way, congratulations on 300 days. I only know this because I looked yesterday. My wife was in the hospital, and I was thinking about the preciousness of life. And I looked, and I was at 250 days yesterday. So today is 251 days,
Congrats.
and it wasn't hard for me. I think kind of like with you, my brain just said, "You're done.
Mhm.
You've had your fair share. You're not losing anything. You already drank in advance everything that you were supposed to drink if you were in your lifetime." And I have felt so good. And then the other piece is really listening to God and figuring out, what is the message that I'm supposed to get here? Because
Mhm.
everybody is supposed to get messages. And I have realized that as I went sober, when I quit drinking, I started listening to God a whole lot more.
Mhm.
And 3 weeks ago, one of my dearest friends died. He went to Bali. He got an infection. He took a pain reliever, and within 2 hours, the pain reliever interacted with the infection, and he died within 2 hours. And again, when I heard the word that he had died, I was just like in shock because this guy was not just healthy; he was raw. He ate raw food. He was the epitome of health, joyful, and it just made me realize you can die in any moment.
Yep.
Then I just got word this past week that a childhood magician friend of mine that I grew up with as a teenager, he and I spent a lot of time together. I found out, and he was like 6 years older than me, passed away from liver cancer. And the message that I got was we are seeking to build a theater, video production, live event facility down near my home here on the beach. I love Las Vegas. My main residence is Vegas, but I love the beach more because it's the beach.
Mhm.
And so we've been looking for a place, and one of the places that we put a bid in on, they said send financials. I sent financials, and it sounds like you. I have a good accountant.
Mhm.
And so the financials show that I don't make a whole lot of money. We gross a lot. We gross strong 8 figures, but I don't make a lot of net on purpose because I don't want to pay taxes.
Yep.
And the guy that got my financials calls me back, and he said, "Well, you don't make very much money." I said, "Did you look at the gross number?" He said, "Yeah, that's why I'm puzzled. You work really hard, but you don't make much money." I said, "No, you asked me to send you my financials. My financials show I don't pay a lot of taxes. It
Mhm.
shows that I make a lot of money." And
Yep.
what's weird to me is, people's perceptions on things. I
Mhm.
get how people might think alcohol actually helps their lives because I used to think it. Not only did I like alcohol, I used to like the way it made me feel. And
Yep.
now, since I haven't had a drink since July 12th, I can't imagine how I would feel. Just horrible, I'm sure. So, it's interesting how we evolve, it's how we change. Where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Honestly, I'm not quite sure. Honestly, I've never really I have some like big visions and goals for what I want. Honestly, there's a few companies that I'm involved with that I have some equity in that have the intent to sell within 3 to 5 years. And if those goes planned, that's going to be some huge, massive payouts. So I'd like to use that money, invest into a lot of things that can create some passive income like property, real estate, land, etc. And then from there, it's like I honestly don't feel like no matter how much money I have in my bank or how much money is kind of coming in that I'll ever be done being an entrepreneur and growing something and building something. It's like for me, that's a thrill of it. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like I've been blessed enough in life to have all the experiences that you could possibly imagine, whether it's like flying around in a Gulfstream, driving around, exotic cars, Lamborghinis, all these other things, and meeting celebrities and going to all these mansions and like just some of the coolest experiences in the world. And like what I've learned is that like those give me temporary happiness. And yeah, it's cool to have them to post on social media, but it's like what's even better to me is like the journey, what it takes to get there. For me, it's the personal development. It's like the journey, the battles that you have to go through every day. It's like that fulfills me way more than anything else. Literally 2 days ago, or I just got home from Houston yesterday, and the day before that, I was at Dan Crenshaw's party, and I was literally just hanging out there and taking shots. And I had my water bottle and take a shot with Brad Paisley, like famous country singer. You know what I mean? It's like we're just sitting there talking to him just like it's a normal day. And I'm like, this is cool. And there's a lot of people who like look up to that experience. Like, oh, I'd absolutely love to have that. And I'm like, for me, I'm like, dude, I just can't wait to get back home and get to the grind. Cause it's like, that's what fulfills my soul. So if you're talking about where I want to be in 10 years, it's like, I know the exact house that I want to go buy in Balboa Peninsula down there in California. That's like my favorite spot of all time. I want to definitely live on the beach. Growing up in the mountains, like mountains are cool, but I've been spoiled with them. So I just want the beach now. I have a list of some cars that I want to have. I want to definitely find myself an amazing wife and have some kids probably in 10 years. And other than that, like wherever the world takes me, man, I mean, I trust God fully and the universe fully to take me to where it is that I'm meant to be. And my journey to become the greatest version of myself is really my top priority. So whatever that looks like, physically, mentally, financially, emotionally, whatever that looks like, that's a journey that I'm on. And wherever I'm at in 10 years on that path is where I'm at.
So I know you're coaching a whole lot of people. 170, that's a lot of people. I'm guessing that you have also clients that are just more than coaching clients, clients that you're deeply involved. You mentioned a couple companies you had some equity in. What do you do for those companies? What kind of stuff when somebody comes to you? And I know you said your bandwidth is completely filled up right now, not really able to take on a client. If you were able to take on a client, what would you do for them?
Honestly, like my full service is essentially like a plug-in CMO, where it's like we create all of your paid advertising content, run all of your ads, do all of your emails, your SMS, build out your website, make sure that your website is fully optimized. That is like the highest level of, I guess, like things on the checklist that we do for somebody. So essentially taking over their website, taking over their marketing, taking over their content, and helping them build their company just as quickly and strategically and profitably as possible.
Very cool. Hey, as we get ready to wrap up, what advice would you give to somebody that has a business and they're wanting to start marketing their business and they've got, let's say, a minor budget. Maybe they've got 5K a month to be able to spend on promotion of their business. Should they be buying ads? Should they be doing podcasts? Should they be you mentioned strategic alliances with other people, and I love that, by the way. People don't realize how much of a bounce back story I am, how many times I've been knocked down, and how many times, because that's regular life. My one of my mentors that I've paid millions of dollars to is Sir Richard Branson. And if people knew how many times he was this close to bankruptcy, or how many times, he just fought it out and got back up, that's just life. That's entrepreneurship. That's business. Take a look at an Elon Musk, same thing, sells his portion of PayPal for $180 million and then invests 100% of it sleeping on his friends' couches for months.
Yeah.
Somebody's got $5,000 in marketing. What should they do? They're launching a brand new company that they sell. I don't know. They sell marital aids. What should they do?
Yeah, honestly, the biggest thing that you need to do is you need to go hard on content. Like I would take that money, I'd invest it in a good camera, like good high quality camera, Sony, Canon, Nikon, whatever it is. Dump $1,000 on a nice camera. Then it's like just go to town on content. That's really the biggest thing. Like the biggest thing that'll get your product to sell to the marketplace is high quality content, because you need to make your brand look like it can be trusted. You need to make it look reputable, and you need to make it look like it's been around for a while, right? The problem is that if you're building a website, it looks like a kindergartner put it together, or somebody who's never built a website puts it together. It's very, very hard for somebody who doesn't know you to come to your website and actually transact with you. And unfortunately, for a lot of startups and entrepreneurs, they're the ones building their own website. They've never done it before, right? But the biggest makeover you can give to a site is good professional content. So I would start with that: professional photography, professional videos. And it's so incredibly easy to get that content with just a nice camera and not an iPhone, or not just a really poor digital camera. Like, invest in a good camera. I promise it's going to pay off more than anything else. And then on top of that, what I would do is I would definitely work on doing some collaborations with other brands. Usually, if you can get somebody to send you some UGC videos, I would actually use that marketing budget. I would argue that more than half that budget should go to your cost of goods and sending them to different influencers and ambassadors who can then promote your product for you and help build you some sales on a customer list, rather than pouring it directly into ads. Just because if you can get your product over to some micro influencers, somewhere between like 10 and 250,000 followers, they'll typically post on their platforms for free with an affiliate code, and not have you pay them. So it's like, if your product's a t-shirt that costs you $10, pay the $10 plus $5 shipping to get them a package, for $15, multiply that by 200 people. That's a lot of eyeballs on your brand, a lot of eyeballs on your product, and a lot of potential customers that are coming into your pipeline. That's a lot more effective than running an ad to a bunch of people who don't know you, because you're essentially bridging that gap between, I don't know, like, or trust this person, giving it to an influencer who's already built that relationship with that, that follower or whatnot. They're more likely to transact with you. So good quality content, number one, that's going to triumph everything. And then secondly is use that marketing budget, get your products to as many ambassadors, affiliates, influencers as you possibly can. And then third, I'd run some traffic, probably through Facebook, Instagram ads would be my next step.
I love it. Yeah, I got to tell you, I've had a number of marketers on this show since we launched 16 days ago, and you just gave me two massive inspirations that were priceless. So great job. And I want to share what these are for me. The first one you gave was about websites, and I realized that my website has been static, that it's basically a place to go. It's a resume, and it's not necessarily a place to go party. And I realized that that would be the smartest thing for me to do. And I'm sharing this with everybody else because I'm taking your advice and I'm being raw and I'm being vulnerable. And I realized that something that makes the website change daily, that makes it something that people want to go back to, whether it's this broadcasting live from the website, or whether it's updated content or updated even clips, the clips that we would normally take from this interview and put on social media, put them on the website too. So if people don't find them on social media, they can go back to the website every single day and have an excuse to go back to the website. And then ultimately, you were talking about strategic alliances and figuring out a way to create those strategic alliances. We give away, as I said, 10 ounces of pure silver minted in Marshall silver bars every single day. And we also give away cash prizes every single day. And while it's slow to grow, your whole idea about making sure we're tapping into other people's audiences is brilliant. Sending out a press kit to all of our guests that say, hey, you're a guest on the show. Please let people know you're going to be on the show. It's good for you. It's good for us. Everybody wins. So you've been remarkable. Where is the best place for people to find you, connect with you, maybe even be a part of any group? You said TikTok. Do you have a personal website?
I'm rebuilding the website right now, to be honest with you. So again, everything is just through Instagram. All my links are in there. If you click on the link in my bio, it takes you to where you can sign up for the coaching group or just follow me across other platforms. So Instagram, again, I push that very heavily because that's kind of my resume, right? But Instagram is at Alex Irby. That's ALEXURB, as in Bravo, IE.
Lovely. Well, you've been a joy, man. What a great surprise. What a great treat. I'm looking forward to getting to know you better. Whenever you are down in the Carlsbad area or also Las Vegas, please look me up. Make sure you get my personal cell phone number from the producer, Tom.
Yeah,
because I love your energy. I love what you stand for. Congratulations on your healthy lifestyle. And thank you so much for being a guest on Marshall Sylver Live.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate the opportunity and looking forward to staying connected with you.
You are awesome. You are loved. Take care, Alex.
You too. Thank you.
Man, we have the greatest guests. We really do. Yeah, great show. I appreciate that. And you know what makes this so real for me is it's all about getting down and dirty. And we're live, and because we're live, things can go wrong. And I think that even adds to the vulnerability of what we do. Speaking of vulnerability, we've had a lot of phenomenal callers. We're about to start taking your calls. All you got to do to get on the air with me live, go to studiomoney.info/live guests. And when you do that, you'll be able to log in, let us know who you are, what you want to talk about, and then you'll get a call back from my producer to get you on the air. And again, that's what we love about this, that it's real and it's raw. If you're the most fascinating caller of the day, guess what? You will receive 10 ounces of pure silver. And we only have time. You see, there's the silver bar right there. 10 ounces of pure silver. I had these minted. They're gorgeous. They're really, really nice. And I'm going to start, I don't know. I'm going to hold the thought of what I said I was about to do, because I realize I'm giddy to see my wife. I just got a message. She's being released from the hospital. She's been there for quite a few days. So I'm going to zoom out as soon as the show is done. So we got 30 more minutes with me. We're about to enter the vault. Your calls right now, likely only going to get to 2. So if you wanted 10 ounces of pure silver, today would be the day. Today is your day to come back from the dead and live the life you were intended to live and be absolutely remarkable. $2,000 up for grabs for today's secret word. $2,000 for today's secret word. I'd like it to be you. So we're going to take a short break, play a couple videos for you, and we'll be right back in the vault after this. So stay with me.
Turning point. A total change in direction for the better.
Who here is ready for a turning point? You absolutely have to have one. Put them high.
The 2-day Turning Point seminar is different than any other program in that it does more than just teach you the skills for your relationships, wealth, and power. It also programs you on a subconscious level to put those skills into immediate use.
This weekend is about empowerment. This weekend is about you understanding how to take charge of your own life.
You will learn total control of your thoughts and emotions, how to use PND, or psychoneural duplication, to take on the thoughts and actions of others to produce similar results. Whether it's losing weight, changing habits, being a millionaire.
When you think what a millionaire thinks and you do what a millionaire does, you'll produce similar results.
You will learn to program these powerful tools at a subconscious level for immediate and lasting results.
Your conscious mind is what's called your critical factor. It's the mind you're using right now to determine whether the information I'm giving to you will work for you or not. Your subconscious mind, on the other hand, is merely a computer. It's non-critical. It doesn't even have the ability to make judgment. So all trance, hypnosis, reprogramming is setting aside the critical factor of your conscious mind and non-critically accepting suggestions.
And empowering.
To make a fear vanish, you must experience it fully.
As it helps you create your life exactly the way you want it. Bring your family closer. Find the love of your life. Create strategies for wealth. Learn irresistible influence, and so much more. Because of the intimate nature of this course, seats are very limited. Register now before your life passes you by, and there are no more turning points for you. Tens of thousands of people have learned this information and are using it daily.
You don't get angry if you get fired from your job and you know that within 2 years you will be a multi-millionaire.
It's your time.
There's a way for you to win this game that is different than how you're doing it, and it works.
It's your life.
When you learn how to do that, you become more powerful, and power is for use.
It's your turning point.
Isn't it time for your first million? Wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to do what you love and learn how to monetize that on a 7-figure level? Do you want to know exactly what you need to do and what not to do to have your biggest year ever? If not now, when? First Million. A 2-day subconscious learning experience that both teaches and programs you with the personality traits and habits of multimillionaires. At First Million, you'll learn how to take almost any wealth vehicle to a 7-figure level or better. You'll learn how to stop using vehicles that don't work, are too difficult, or simply unsuited for you. Making money is supposed to be fun. Stop living your life, getting ready to live your life, and start living a life of adventure. First Million was crafted to not just change what you do, it's also going to change who you are. Instead of trying to become a millionaire, you'll learn that you're already a millionaire, even if the money has not yet been deposited in your bank account. Beyond mindsets, you'll learn the actual personality traits of multimillionaires, so you'll naturally do what millionaires do to produce a similar result. One of the key personality traits of a millionaire is charisma. Imagine being able to walk into a room and without speaking a word, have the entire room drawn to you. Imagine others hanging on your every word, wanting to be near you, to be in business with you, and hungry to buy whatever you're selling. First Million will teach you how to use the charisma that politicians, entertainers, CEOs, and celebrities use to move nations and make millions. You'll also learn how to get more done in less time. You'll learn priority management and what the highest and best use of your time is. You'll learn laser-like focus upon IGAs, or income-generating activities, and you'll learn to let go of anything below your pay grade. What if you had more customers than you ever imagined? What if they came right to you and fought to buy from you? At First Million, you'll learn attraction marketing and strategies to get others to pay you for your marketing and advertising before they even purchase your offer. When you attend your First Million, you'll begin to see an overwhelming amount of amazing opportunities all around you. You'll look through the matrix and easily identify target-rich environments. You'll learn dovetailing and stacking strategies to acquire more customers and do more business with the customers you already have. Unless something is sold, no money is made. Whether you're a sales pro, a novice, or even scared to death of selling something, your first million is going to have you fall in love with influence and enjoy it as the game that it is. When you believe in what you're selling, you're obligated to sell it. You'll learn exact language patterns of influence and persuasion. You'll learn how to get others to ask you for what you're selling and have them believe it was their idea. You'll become dynamically able to use arcing statements, direct links, embedded commands, and so much more. An entire tool belt of selling gambits will be yours after you get to your first million. As a first million alumni, you will be clear on what you need to do to GTFM or get the freaking money. You deserve great wealth, and your first million will help to raise your self-esteem around the topic of money. The amount of money you make will always be determined by your own self-image. You'll learn what billion-dollar corporations already know about outsourcing, how to get anything below your pay grade done for pennies on the dollar. Your first million will give you the groundwork to understand presentation skills and the highest paid profession on the planet, public speaking. When you graduate from your first million, you'll be able to create presentations that inspire with confidence and power. If all that weren't enough, there's so much more. Making your first million is almost certainly going to require that you manage at least a small team. You'll walk out of the course with the knowledge of how to lead teams and synergistically get more done in less time. Technology has made our lives so much easier as we've learned how to harness it. The First Million course will teach you what is up to date and available in technology so that you can use that cutting-edge technology to get more done and have more fun. You'll also learn how to harness the power of the internet for massive, passive profits. Every time you attend your first million, you'll learn new technology and internet marketing strategies as these two portions of the class change every time you attend. It's like getting a brand new seminar each time you come. If you're a representative, you may attend your first million as often as you like, totally free, with your enrollment in the First Million course. If you're not yet a rep, or if you have not yet invested in your first million, enroll now. Everything begins in 5, and you know what you want to say. Go ahead, say it now. Say it out loud. I'm ready for my first million.
And we are back live in the vault and ready to chat with you. Go to studiomoney.info/live guests to be on the air with me. Hey, we got a guest on the air that I always love hearing from, Sapphire Gear. Welcome home. What's your question?
Hi, Marshall. Good to see you. Yeah, my
Always nice to
question
see you.
is,
You're calling from your car. That's how much you love me.
yeah, I'm actually at the top of Alaska right now, working in the Arctic. So,
What city are you in?
well, I'm not in a city. I'm on the North Slope, right on the Arctic Ocean. So,
So you're near
yeah,
Russia.
yeah. Technically, we could get over there in a day.
Lovely. We just got back from Fairbanks. I've never been so freaking cold in my life.
Yes, but I'm sure you got to see some beautiful things.
We did. We had a blast. In fact, we were originally scheduled. I feel dirty even saying this. We were originally scheduled to fly on Alaska Airlines, and they started having panels popping off the Boeing. They had a Boeing challenge, so they had panels popping off the planes. So they grounded all their planes. It was our 17th anniversary, and so I just said to Erica, "God doesn't want us flying commercially." So we chartered a plane, went up, and we saw the Northern Lights. Of course, we went dog
Hmm.
sledding. We went ice fishing. We went to Chena Hot Springs, which was
Yep.
very cool. It was amazing. And we had a great trip. And then we came back. And just yesterday, I was in the hospital with Erica, and she pulled up
Oh,
an email that that Alaska Airlines wanted to do something nice for us because our anniversary was impacted. So I told Erica I
Oh,
want to go back, but I don't want to go to Fairbanks. I want to go to Anchorage, and
yep.
I'd like to go in the summertime when it's not so freaking cold. So,
Well, that's where I am. So if you show up, I will be sure to show you guys the way.
well, lovely. It looks like your cheeks have gotten a little bit of cold on them.
Yeah, it's been a negative 40 most and 20 to 30 mile an hour wind, so a little
That's
bit
crazy.
rough, but yeah.
So what do you
So
do?
yeah, so since seeing you, I'll just give you a quick rundown. I'll give the nitty gritty and dirty too. I have separated from my relationship. I closed down my old business, my old construction business, and I'm starting over completely from scratch. And I recently just bought a home that also came with a flower farm operating as a business and 2 blank acres of land that I want to do some investment properties on. So
I love it.
I saw that your guest was, a marketer. So I just wanted to kind of hear from his point of view in this climate, and yours. I see value, and I've been studying this for a while. People have no problem buying flowers, but in this market, in this climate, how do I and where would I market the best? I suppose I don't know quite the right way to ask that.
No, that's a great
To
question.
bring beauty to everyone, but
Yeah, that's a great question. I know, and I was looking back in the comments you had asked about flowers and about them being an extra thing, obviously not a necessity for living, and how do I market that during challenging times? We're about to go pick Erica up. That's the reason we're going to do 30 minutes of call-in today. We're about to pick Erica up from the hospital, and I pray she's not listening, because the first thing that came to mind is to make sure that we had some flowers. I don't like giving people flowers in the hospital because it stinks the room up. If they're there all week and they're right beside it and they can't enjoy them the way they're supposed to. So I like to give flowers when somebody comes home so they can enjoy them. They can keep them
right.
fresh. They don't have to count on the nurses changing the water and such. And again, we at our household don't find flowers to be an extra. They're an essential. They're an absolute essential. And I think that 2 things I would do to answer your question. First and foremost, I would seek elephants while I was eating chicken. And what I mean by that is I'm always looking for bigger clients. I'm always looking for people that could send, a whole lot of people my way while we're also taking care of individuals. You're a good example. How did you and I originally meet? Was it at somebody else's event?
We met at your event through some friends of mine who brought me there, and I ended up going to your
Through
inner
Jordan and
circle.
Amanda.
Yeah, yeah,
Right, through Jordan and Amanda. So that's a
yeah.
good example right there. We are going to get business through referrals. And Jordan and
hmm
Amanda certainly have referred a lot of people to Certainty. We're going to get business through referrals. We're going to get business through satisfied customers. We're going to get business
Yep.
through making large strategic alliance relationships in Alaska. So I'm guessing the new property in Alaska. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yep. So obviously in Alaska at 40 degrees below zero with a 20-degree wind chill factor, flowers are a blessing. They are a reminder that this too shall pass. And so
Yes.
if it were me, that's how I would market in Alaska. I would market. What's the name of the flower shop? What's the name of the company?
It's Alaska Blooms Peony Farm.
So I might change the retail name to something else. And what comes to mind immediately is Ray of Sunshine Flowers, Warm and Cozy Flower Shop, because again, I thought Alaska was stunning. I thought it was so beautiful. We're driving down the road and we see a moose just standing right beside the road. And we see Kodiak, we see bears up running across the snowbank in the mountains. I mean, it was remarkable. We're ice fishing through 4 feet thick ice. Prosperity had a blast. First time the kids had ever gone fishing. And so much of it was fun. The only thing that was constant for me was how hard the snow is. How much work the snow is. And, you know, with all of that going on, any trigger, any mind trigger that can help somebody have a different experience, because that's what marketing is. Marketing is something that shifts our state and then shows us something that can keep us in that state. And so if it were me and I was selling flowers in Alaska, I would, I would have the name of the retail side. The farm doesn't matter as much because that's industrial buyers, that's enterprise buyers. But the retail distribution, I would come up with a retail distribution membership, especially during the winter months. I would sell a flower delivery membership during the winter that is a taste of spring, a touch of sunshine, a warmth in a vase, because that's what flowers mean. That's what flowers mean in your environment. So I would go beyond the flowers and go toward the direction of what the flowers are to mean. And again, in the middle of all that white, all that beautiful snow, a little bit of color means everything.
Absolutely. And that's why I was like, I need the farm because I need the color.
Yes, absolutely. So I think that that's a great strategy. Yeah. Congratulations on your transformation.
Thank you.
When you and I were together, that was the one thing I was saying is we have to pay attention and see whether our relationships are more or less. And you being as massively motivated as you are and dealing with the stuff that you were dealing with, I know it wasn't an easy decision to make a clean break. And yet I'm very glad that you did, because frankly, you're worth it. And that's the only way that, you're going to develop healthy romantic relationships now, is to make sure that the other one isn't interfering anymore. So way to go. Good on you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything, and I appreciate your time as usual.
I love you very much. Keep listening. I've only got time for 2 callers, and I can see the second caller already won 10 ounces of silver. So right now you're pretty much in the running. You're pretty much in the running. So keep listening. And I know my second caller is grinning right now because he's a good man. He's a really good guy. And he knows he's not going to win again. He's giving me thumbs up in the green room right now. So I'm just going to say it now. You called in. Because you called in, you took an action. You just won 10 ounces of Marshall silver, pure silver right there. That one is for you. And it's a big one too.
Oh my gosh. Thank you.
Yeah. How fun was that? And you're going to keep it on your desk. You're going to look at it every single day, and you're going to be reminded of what you're working on and that you have a silver touch as well.
Thank you so much. Tell Erica I'm sending my love and wish her well.
You know what? She's feeling it. And like I said, I'm racing out of here today to go pick her up. So I appreciate the love, and you stay healthy, stay good, stay warm, and you are loved. Keep listening to the show, and I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. I just love our guests. I love our people. Our next guest, final guest of the day, Tim Keegan. Welcome to the show. Glad you're here. Always great to hear from you. How's life? Tim, you are live on the air. How you doing, brother? Looks like he froze. He's handsome. So the good news is he's a good-looking guy that froze.
Yeah. Well,
you there with me?
Hi, Marshall. How are you?
I'm always awesome, man. You're live. How's the real estate investing business?
It's like, well, I've been away a bit, so we just got back. So I'm sorry to miss your event last week, but we were celebrating our anniversary, so we went to St. Croix for a week. So it was kind of booked in advance, and I'm sorry we missed you. We had a great time, but real estate, it's back to real estate. We're looking forward to getting some nice properties this year. But great to see you again.
Great to see you too. And I saw that you were in St. Croix. I was a little jelly. And I saw you were celebrating your anniversary with your beautiful bride. So I thought that was an awesome thing. And yes, you were missed. You're calling in today just to say hi. What's going on?
Yeah, just wanted to say hi. A question you might have been asked many times. I don't know if you've ever been asked it, but I just was curious. Do you have a turning point?
Did I have a turning point in my life, or
no? If you can hear me, because it's like freezing up here. I'm sorry. Did you get that?
It is freezing.
No.
Looks like we're having some connectivity challenges with Tim there. So the question I heard was, have you had turning points in your life? And so before we wrap up today's show and I leap into my car to race off to the hospital to pick up my beautiful, beautiful bride, Erica, I want to talk about my own personal turning points. I've had quite a few, actually. Certainly, I had an epiphany in my early 20s. I was a cocaine addict. I admit that. And one day I woke up and I'd already become a hypnotist. And I said, if you're a hypnotist, you can't do drugs. You have to be good at healing yourself. So you got to stop doing this. I drank alcohol for many years after that, for decades, actually. And, alcohol is one of those weird things. It's the only drug that people, without feeling bad about it, push. You go to a party and someone says, hey, can I get you a drink? If you say, no, I don't drink, they say, oh, come on, just one drink, doesn't matter. Can you imagine if they did that with heroin? Hey, would you like a fix? No, I'm good. No, just one little fix. So just one prick of the needle. It's not that much. People don't think anything about it. So for me, I had a major turning point on July 12th of last year. I said, you know what? This just isn't serving me anymore. I got to be done. And like I said, I haven't had a desire to drink. I don't fight. I don't use willpower. I just don't drink anymore. And then I had a major turning point before I met my wife. And the turning point I had before I met my wife was I realized I was asking for things that were insignificant. I was looking for a particular physical type, not an emotional type, not a personality type, not a value type, not somebody that had certain values. And when I stopped looking for the physical type and said, God, I don't care how they show up physically. I don't care what age. I don't care what height. I don't care what weight. I don't care what race. Find me someone kind, just someone kind. When I asked for something better, guess what? I got everything. I got a gorgeous woman who's so smart, who's so funny. I've never laughed as much with another human being, never experienced the level of joy that I have. And sexy as all get out, just perfect. A phenomenal mom, a phenomenal, perfect wife, got it all. So I think that's the turning point for me, is asking better questions. And although we're wrapping up for the day, as I'm about to jump in the car and go pick up Erica, I just want you to know that at the end of the day, the quality of your life will be the quality of your questions, both internally and the questions you're asking the outside world. So with that said, I pray that you have a massive bounce back. Nobody said the secret word of the day. The secret word of the day was indeed that bounce back, or that resilience, which means nobody won the $2,000 today, which means tomorrow the cash goes up to $2,500. So we gave away $13,500 in the last round. We're building the amount back up. I'd love to have you win the cash. By all means, love to have you at a turning point coming up soon. Next one coming up in May. Hey, stay tuned. Tomorrow, 9 a.m., we've got a phenomenal guest on the show tomorrow. Tomorrow, a guy named Sean Kelly. I just visited him in Vegas. This guy's brilliant. He has blown up his social media, blown up his podcast. And it's tomorrow we're going to talk about owning the mic, because Sean Kelly certainly has done that. So be sure to tune in 10 a.m. Pacific sharp. I will see you then. I'm Marshall Sylver. You are totally loved. Can you tell I'm giddy to see my bride? I am. And I'll see you tomorrow morning, same time, same bat channel. God bless. Have an awesome day. Take care. Hey there, moguls. It's me, Marshall Sylver, your personal millionaire maker. Getting very excited about my brand new show coming up 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. I'm going to broadcast live to you. I'm going to give you content, information, emotional, mental, physical, and even spiritual power. I'll also invite some of my cool multi-millionaire and billionaire friends onto the show to give you more direction, more advice for having it all. All the knowledge to get everything you want and so much more. All you got to do is log in to the show to get information coming to you live from the bunker right here at Studio Money. So stay tuned.